Yeah, ready. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome back. This is episode 2 of season 2, Hammer the Heck Out of It, a golf podcast hosted by myself, Alex Heck, and the pro, Jacob Ham. We wanted to just come on tonight, kind of update everybody with the recent news in golf. As we mentioned in episode 1, there was speculation of Rahm to live. Now it's confirmed it's a done deal. We believe I believe the number was around 600 million. Jacob, if you want to kind of share your thoughts on that or your initial reaction when you saw, I believe the first his announcement came over Fox News. That's what I saw. The
Yeah.
interview there. So you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I was at a work dinner and you texted me and you said Rahm is announcing on Fox News right now and
Mhm.
um it wasn't the most normal way, I guess, to announce it. It was kind of surprising that he took that route instead of what the other guys do where they let the like official live account announce it or something. Um Obviously a lot of money. I don't know how you turn it down. I don't know how you just walk away from that and just say I'm still just going to keep doing me. He did, and like for years, say that he was never going anywhere. He wasn't going anywhere. He wanted to play with the best players. He wanted to play that format of 4 rounds, 36 hole cut. But can't fault the guy at the end of the day, I guess.
Mhm.
The only thing that I can fault him on is the whole grow the game narrative he's trying to push with it. You're not trying to grow the game. Nobody's dumb enough to believe that. That's not why you signed that paycheck. That's not why you're going to get that money. You're not trying to grow the game. No one's not. I mean, there might be some new people that watch Live, but it's not going to grow tremendously just because Jon Rahm went. I don't think. Um, but yeah, if he just came out and said, "I signed for the money. I'm going to be the highest paid golfer ever at this point," like in terms of winnings and contract, I guess you could say. Um,
Mhm.
I think that would have been a lot more respectable. But
Yeah.
yeah, initial reaction is how do you not take that deal? But I mean, like I said to you before we started recording, Jon Rahm is in a much different financial situation than everyone else. That's not to say he doesn't want that money still, but um,
Mhm.
yeah, I was not really surprised, but I was kind of bummed out when I saw it.
Yeah, I can say just I agree with you, by the way. I think it's a weird route to take to go on to one of the biggest news channels. It seems like he could have announced that. What's interesting to me, what I've kind of pondered too, is why it seems like this news is has turned so political. Instead of just announcing this on like ESPN or something, we choose to go to like a widespread news network. Um, but it was interesting to see him speaking on Fox News. I don't know if you were able to watch a lot of the clip. I watched pretty much all of it. He seemed just drained, like kind of speaking about it. He did not seem comfortable. And I don't know, I saw reporters tweeting that they thought the opposite, that he did seem comfortable. He seemed like content with his decision. I did not think that at all. I thought um, there's definitely, you can see it just in his face. Like there's definitely part of him that knows he's now uh, kind of turned against everything that he had previously mentioned. Is that how you saw it as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think he just looked tired. Like I think he looked tired of seeing all the rumors, tired of hearing about like just him going before he could even announce it probably. But I maybe it was the black jacket, maybe it was I don't know, maybe it was bad lighting. He just looked exhausted. He looked like he just had used all of his energy to like get there and get that contract signed, I guess, which was weird. I usually Rom, like you said, is very outgoing in front of the camera. He's a guy that talks a lot.
Yeah.
He's a guy that just expresses his feelings. Seemed very robotic in the like clips that I saw. Like it was very media trained answers. So
Mm-hmm.
very weird
That's
to
that's for sure. Yeah, and he comes on with that live golf. I don't know, Letterman jacket esque
that thing was
outfit.
terrible.
Yeah. But it is. To circle back to what you said earlier as well, just his whole notion of growing the game too. It just seems like when these guys are making the decision to go, um, it all seems so scripted and trained, like a trained narrative to me, that they're being told what to say and they're just kind of running with it. And that's where it'd be interesting if you, and I don't recall the guy's name who was interviewing him on Fox News, but if you have somebody that could kind of challenge that and kind of say, you're not growing the game, and see what he would respond to that, I think it's going to be interesting. So I think especially maybe once we step into the time of the majors and these guys get in front of more press and more media, it's going to be interesting to see kind of what kind of questions they're asked and how they respond to that. I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I will.
you look back at all of them announcing throughout the time that they've announced everyone. Phil in particular, I remember, was pushing the grow the game narrative. That's why he was going. I grew up a massive Phil fan, obviously. When I saw Phil leave, that was a major, like, okay, this is really, really sad. Like, I don't want to see this. It seems to me
That's
like
the
the only
lefty love.
I know. I grew up watching the Philly flop, man. Like I couldn't get rid of it. But the only one that really was honest when he announced was Harold Varner, and I think there's a lot to respect about that. And I mean, some of the guys didn't have to like really come out with big statements when they announced, and maybe they would have been honest about it too. But Harold Varner posted on social media like, "Yeah, this is to set future generations away from me," and I think that there's a lot to respect about that, I guess. I don't love anybody that goes there for the fact that they went there. But I think you just got to be honest about it at the end of the day, because people see right through it. Like, we're not all stupid. We don't think you're actually going to grow the game because you go play team golf for $300 million or whatever. So
I will say it's been interesting to see all this news come out in the recent year, and seeing the figures and the numbers that these guys are signing for. I think it just speaks to how big the game of golf has gotten, as far as like you hear baseball players. I mean, we have Ohtani, just a $700 million deal. Nothing like that ever really took place in golf. I mean, it was always like when a guy would win the Masters, win a major, he'd get 2-3 million, would be a big prize money. But now to throw around, I mean, a number like 500, 600 million to sign for, these are just crazy figures. And it's definitely getting golf on the radar more for the realm of sports media, I would say.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I think it's Tiger. But like, you might correct me if I'm wrong. Who do you think would get the biggest offer? Like, who do you think would get the most?
I would have to think, yeah, I would have to
It's got
think
to
a
be
guy
Tiger.
like
I
Tiger
mean,
would.
the only one that would be halfway close to him would probably be Rory.
And
And
that's what initially, when I was watching Golf Channel and kind of the reporter's response to this, they had Brandel Chambly on, and they asked him, is this a devastating loss? And his response to it was no. He definitely addressed that it hurts, but he said a devastating loss would be losing somebody like Tiger or Rory. So I would have to think that offer would be more than what Rahm had
here's
signed for.
here's the thing. Like, the PGA Tour was around before Jon Rahm. It's going to be around after Jon Rahm. There's guys in college. We've talked about them on here, like guys like Gordon Sargent, like Christo Lamprecht from Georgia Tech. He's on the DP World Tour this week. He's on the front page of the leaderboard. Like, this guy is in college. Like, there's guys in college that are ready, and when one leaves, another one's just going to step up. Ludvig
Sure.
Aberg might be world number one in a year. We don't know this. Like, and he's got the talent to do it. So I mean, losing a guy like Rahm does hurt, but like, there's guys next in line, and they want it just as bad. So
Sure. And that's what this could potentially become. I think it's interesting. Like, there will be a platform for sure, but the names that you hear, and I mean, I can't even think that the quality of golf or the scores are gonna get much worse, because like you said, you just have a system of guys that are just ready to come up and step into that spotlight. With that being said, um, how is the PGA Tour going to be able to respond to this? Because I mean, as you keep seeing Liv pick off big names, Brooks, Rahm, DJ, I mean, where's it going to stop? And how is the PGA Tour going to be able to respond and still hold together some kind of a platform like what we see today?
yeah, I mean, I think you're at a crossroads now where the floodgates have opened. When your Masters champ goes, when your PGA champ is already there, It's not something that people are just going to look away from. Guys are going to keep going, I think. And if I'm Jay Monahan, I'm sitting there seeing this, knowing my only option is I have to get a deal formed where I'm not saying the PGA Tour ends. I'm saying the PGA Tour accepts the fact that these players are going to go. And you're going to have to come up with something, which they've already been in advanced talks with Sports Media Agency and Fenway Sports Group and the PIF. Like they're in advanced talks trying to get the players that are still on the tour this type of money, right? Where they're gonna want to stay because otherwise they're just gonna go. Um, but I think you have to have some sort of merger. I think there's got to be something because at this point you've lost so much talent, you've lost so much likability in certain guys that um, more guys are just going to keep going. I think, and it's sad because I do miss the old PGA Tour. I miss like when the players would roll around. The players was like the Masters before the Masters, right? Because like these guys are like that field used to be full and now it's just not. So something has
Mhm.
to happen. I think I don't know what. I think you have to have some sort of deal that allows these players to play together again sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think what's interesting about it too is a lot of these guys' responses are, they want to play against the best players in the world. And when this live golf thing came about, I believe there's 48 players in each field. Uh, you know, half of these guys' names weren't household names that you knew or that you respected necessarily. They're all good players, but you might not have known how they play. But it seems like, I mean, if we keep continuing at the rate we are, the live could end up being where the best players in the world are playing. So that argument will no longer hold. And I agree with you. I think there definitely has to be some kind of a deal made, some kind of a merging. Um, there's no doubt in my mind now that the majors aren't going to be able to exclude these live guys, or there just would be no major championship anymore, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah.
Um, moving along, I don't know if you want to touch on just how you think this whole live and PGA Tour thing is affecting like player relationships. I know you wanted to speak on a tweet that Rory kind of made, um, but yeah, in my opinion, I mean, I just hope that these guys kind of all are able to stay cordial because I know so many of them were friends before, and obviously the Ryder Cup's a huge deal in that representing the country. But if you want to speak on that a little bit, I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So Roy tweeted and he was replying to a guy. I believe the guy's name was Keith Van Valkenburg or something. I butchered that. Sorry, Keith, if you see this somehow. But yeah, he was replying to a tweet that guy had put out, and he said like the best thing that happened to the European Ryder Cup team this year was Henrik going to live, which means because Henrik was going to be the captain of that team, obviously, and his move to live took that away from him. Um, it's a tweet that you don't expect to see from Rory. He's not a guy that tweets often, so when he does, it's kind of like it's usually very professional. It's very like, I'm honored to win this tournament. Thank you to all my sponsors, like that type of thing. Um, for him to tweet something like that, it shows that I think he's fed up. I really do. I think in all sense of it, he's fed up. He's tired of the guys saying that he's going to stay with the PGA Tour and then not. He's probably tired of being lied to by Monahan about things like um, just all sides. He seems mad. He seems fed up. As far as relationship goes, between players, I think now more than ever they respect the guys that go. At first, when it first started, there was a lot of, I don't want to say beef, but there was a lot of hard feelings between them. And if you remember when the Masters was about to roll around, everybody's sitting there like, how is this going to happen? Like, because these guys don't like each other. Like something's going to happen. Somebody's going to get into an argument. Somebody's going to get like it's going to go bad, and it didn't. Everybody got there and kind of just treated each other like human beings, I guess. Um, and I think that was kind of the end of like as far as there's hard feelings here and here and here. Now there's still guys that don't really like each other, right? Like Ian Poulter replied to Rory's tweet saying like, "Oh, you've always been a class act, Rory." Like he's obviously saying that sarcastically, like Ian Poulter, Rory, they probably still don't have the best relationship, but that's just like whatever, I guess. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be guys even between guys on the PGA Tour, between guys on Live that don't have the best relationships. Like Brooks and Matt Wolff don't like each other. So it's just I think as far as I don't like him just because he's on Live, I don't think that really exists anymore. Is what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah, absolutely. From your perspective, your opinion, if you're a player currently that's on the PGA Tour, do you hope for a merging of parties between Live and PGA, or do you still want to take on the mindset or the attitude of we're over here and you guys have chose to go over there?
I think it depends what kind of player you are, right? Like I think if you're a Scotty Scheffler who's still going to win events no matter how many Live guys play in them, um, you're not real worried about it. It brings revenue to your sport. It brings eyes to your to your work. But if you're a guy like even Jason Day, like you mentioned it before we started recording, had his quote where he said, "Well, it makes my job easier since Jon Rahm is leaving," um, which is an interesting quote considering Jason Day is a world class player. He could win. He literally just won today. Like, which
Yeah.
is it's hilarious. He would say that former world number one that his job got easier because someone left. Because it's not like it's a guy that's 126th in the FedEx Cup, right? Like a guy that's 126th, he wants everybody gone. Like he wants to keep moving up. So I think it would depend what kind of player you are. Um, if I'm on the tour, like I would I would kind of want them all to stay over there. Like I mean, I want to play with them, but that happens in the majors. Like that's and I think the majors are staying the majors because the Masters took the high road, PGA of America, USGA, RNA, they all decided, all right, well, yeah, you join Live, but if you're qualified to be in this major, then you're here. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you make your bed, you kind of sleep in it. Is kind of how I look at it.
Hmm. It would be interesting to see if and when this does happen, like between a merging, if obviously you would think that the prize money in the events that are currently played on, I mean, I don't know how it would work, but the events, the PGA events that are some of the lower purses, you would think those would have to inflate a little bit, which I guess could be a reason that you would maybe want that merging to take place. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Mhm.
Um, as we're heading towards kind of the end of the year, there's not really too many events left that we can speak on. There is a fun one that's going to take place next weekend, the PNC Father Son. I believe that always takes place here in Florida in Orlando. Um, but yeah, some notables playing. Um, you've got the Thomases. You've obviously got fan favorites. You've got Charlie and Tiger. Then you've got the Dailies. The Sings always play. They seem like they do well each year. The Coochers. You have the Cordas. So a lot of good teams. It's always a fun, fun event to put on the TV and watch. Um, Jacob, any thoughts on this event? And then if you want to give us maybe a pick to win.
Yeah, obviously a fun event. It's something that everybody tunes into. If not just to see Tiger, just to see the fact that because you don't get events like this right on the PGA Tour where you're literally just there to have fun. Yeah, if you win, it's cool. Yeah, some of them are there to win, but others are there just to enjoy it, enjoy their time with their families and stuff. It's cool to see legends of the game kind of come back. Like Lee Trevino is going to be there. The guy just turned 84, so that's very cool to see. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like teams to watch, I think you obviously have to watch for the Woodses. Charlie's been getting better. Just won a state championship in Florida with his team. Um, Tiger's obviously moving better, playing well. Um, the Dailies obviously Division One golfer there, John Daly and Little John and Big John. Hopefully they get him a cart because I don't want to really see him. I know they allow carts. He needs to get one. They need to have one in the front row for him and Tiger there
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my pick to win, though, I'm going to go the Kuchars. I think Matt Kuchar's game is still there. He still competes on the PGA Tour, and he doesn't have to really carry his partner either. His son Cam is is very, very good. Practices out of Bears Club, as far as I know. Um, they're in Jupiter. Grant Horvat has done multiple videos with him. The kid hits it far. He's no joke. Like he hits it farther than his dad. So that's going to be cool to see. And I really do think that the Kuchers, I think they're going to surprise everybody and probably win by multiple shots. That's my pick.
Yeah, I will say, it's getting that time of year again. I hope John Daly's got the white beard grown out. He can take on the Santa Claus look and maybe appeal to the kids a little bit out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Wear the all red.
Sure. Yeah. My pick to win, just because I hope that it happens, is Tiger and Charlie.
Yeah.
I remember I'm looking forward to watching it. I don't know how old Charlie is now, but just seeing him grow into a young man, and I mean, man, he's a big kid now. The videos that have surfaced of him, I mean, he looks like he's pounding the ball out there. So I'm anxious to see how he's playing, see how him and Tiger do.
Yeah, he
But
plays
yeah,
some
Jacob,
really good junior events. He plays like Nota Begay Invitational. He plays out in
mhm.
California all the time. Like, I mean, he's moving it. He's playing well, and Tiger obviously is Tiger, so they've got a chance.
I have seen that. You think if what's interesting is Tiger always seems like he's there, caddying for him. I wonder if if Charlie's coming down the stretch of a tournament, if the Tiger effect is still real because he's just on the bag.
I
So
mean, if I'm a 15-year-old in Charlie's group and I've got a one-shot lead on 18's tee and Tiger Woods is watching me put my tee in the ground, I'm shaking. Like there's
mhm.
no chance I'm
Yeah,
calm whatsoever. So it's there. I know it is. I almost feel for the kids that Charlie gets paired with because they have to deal with that all day. So
yeah, absolutely. Um, well, I think we've covered about everything we've wanted to update as far as the golf news, current events. Jacob, if it's all right with you, we're going to get into my favorite segment, Ask the Pro. So
all right.
last week we discussed, some tips for the winter season. Um, I'm not sure how many more pods we're going to put out before Christmas, but I wanted to go ahead and ask. There's still time for Christmas shopping. I mean, the local malls, the supermarkets, everything's crazy out there. It seems like the traffic is ridiculous. I know that's a big pet peeve of mine this time of year, but yeah, being a golf professional, can you kind of just maybe give the listeners an idea of, you can give, your top 3, your top 5, however you kind of want to format it, but the top gifts of the year that you think, um, you know, a golfer would enjoy, whether it be an amateur player or recreational player. Um, what would a golfer like to see under the tree this year?
Okay. I'm gonna assume that they have like halfway updated equipment and everything,
Mhm.
because one thing would be a rangefinder, obviously, something like that. Um, you can find those, but most people have those. So I'm gonna go with things that they probably don't have. Um, any apparel, Peter Millar, Holden, and Born. Those are my two brands I rep the most. I actually have a Peter Millar pullover on right now. Um, those two brands, far and away, in my opinion, are the best, and I don't think it's all that close. Some of your other brands tend to get a little more expensive. They kind of are near that quality, like the Polo RLX, that type of thing.
I think I have a Peter on actually right here underneath, but yeah, I
You
can,
can't beat them. You
yeah,
can't
I'll,
beat
I'll
them.
agree with you on that. They're very nice. Yeah.
So that's as far as like polos go, stuff like that. Obviously, golf shirts, golf pants. Kind of know who you're buying for, right? Like if you're buying for like a modern person, somebody our age, get them some golf joggers. Get some Primo athletic golf joggers. Use code whatever Grant Horvat's got in his bio for 20% off. I'm sure there on that website. Um, get him some joggers. If he's more of a classic person, obviously get him pants. Don't get him joggers because he won't wear them. So training aids too. Like iRange Sports has the thing that helps you record your swing. Um, Putting mirrors, putting short game gains is good with all that stuff. So those are some brands, kind of throwing those out there to go fill the room underneath the tree. those are my Christmas gifts.
That's perfect. Mom, if you're out there listening, now you've got some great ideas from the pro.
You think she made it
So
to this part of the episode?
I hope so.
I hope so.
All right. That's all we've got tonight. Jacob, if you wanna, I don't know if you wanna kind of preview, we've got some exciting stuff in store. I hope
Yeah.
that we can get that out before the end of the year here, the end of the month.
Yeah, so we've got a couple guests kind of that we've gotten lined up. Alex has gotten one and I've gotten one. And one of them is a Big 12 golf commit, which is a very, very highly coveted golf conference in the NCAA's out, and the kid's talented. He's won some big tournaments here in Indiana, so that's going to be awesome. I think he's going to be a great guest. The other one we have lined up that should come out halfway soon, I think, is a Corn Ferry Tour winner. So it's very, very cool that we've got these lined up, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be some of our best content yet as far as a podcast goes. So excited about that. Excited to interview these guys, learn about them, and see what type of material we get from that. As far as that goes, though, that's all we've got today. Good episode, I thought, and
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for these next couple that are going to be coming up.
Me too. Yeah. It's always awesome to have players of that high of caliber on. I love just picking their brains, learning what their day-to-day life looks like, how they practice, how they go about their business. So I'm really excited for that. Like Jacob said, yeah, we'll have those out in the next couple weeks. So appreciate everybody for listening, hanging out with us tonight, spending a little bit of time, and yeah, we'll see you guys very soon.